The Nigeria police says it is collaborating with other relevant authorities to investigate the killing of security operatives in Umuezala, Owerri, in Emelumba, local government area of the state. The security operatives were lured into an ambush and murdered, after which vehicles were then set ablaze. Well, the security agents affected comprise the police officers, the military personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps as the NSCDC and the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Betokun, is urging the public to extend their cooperation to law enforcement agencies in the collective pursuit of peace and order in Imo State and other parts of the country. Well, joining us now in the studio is Imo State Commissioner for Information, Declan Emelumba, and at our studios in Lagos is Director of Strategy and of the Labour Party Governorship Campaign Council in Imo State, Nemeka Obiaraeri. He's also a development economist. I thank both of you, gentlemen, for joining us on News Night tonight. Let me start with you, Commissioner of Information, Declan Emelumba. I mean, we're hearing of so much tension in Imo State, and understandably so. I mean, when security operatives, 8 of them in number, are killed, what do you expect? And it's not the first time this is happening in Imo State. Why do you think Imo State is a target? Do you think this has political undertones?
Thank you very much for having me, first of all, and then thank you for the question. Well, let me say that I want to quickly correct the impression. There were not 8 security personnel that were killed, there were 5. And like you rightly said, they comprised of both army, police, and civil defense, and just NDLEA. So it's a team, it's a security team that went on assignment. Now, the truth of the matter is that if you look at the circumstance, you don't need anybody to also say that the thing has a lot of political undertone. First and foremost, the security operatives were lured. An Okada driver, I mean motorcycle rider, came and told them that there were some attempts to attack a petrol station in a nearby village. And they believed him and followed. Then when they got to a place where the road was bad, then that was where the ambush occurred. And they shot. And again, you know, they were about 13 in number, the security men. 8 of them escaped, and so 5 were killed. And it's not, out of the 5 killed, there's only 1 soldier that was killed. Now, the other point is that as we talk, the police has already arrested 2 of those gunmen, and they're cooperating, helping the police in their investigation. So why you will see that it's like we are saying that it happens so often, it's not correct, because if it is such a commonplace occurrence, it will be making news. For a long time now, we have not had any of something like this anymore. That's why it is big news, and regrettably so, because it's not a good news. But the question you ask yourself is, all the opposition party people, as we talk, none of them has condemned this event, this incident. And that is very unfortunate, because if you can't condemn this kind of incident, it means you are condoning it. And so why are you condoning it? So you won't blame anybody, you know, if they begin to give interpretations to it. Like I said, these people were lured into this ambush, so there's a motive behind it. So, but the good news is that the government is on top of the situation. Like I said, 2 of them have been arrested, and you can see that the way it's going, it won't take time before the rest will be apprehended and brought to book.
Let's quickly bring in Nemeka from our Lagos studios. Now, the primary purpose of government is to provide security and welfare for the people. Would you say that in this situation, the government has done enough to ensure that security is in its pride of place in Imo State? Or is it beyond? You know, it's
quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate that the Honorable Commissioner tried to play with numbers. Whether it is 1 person or 2 that were killed, life was lost. You know, it's very unfortunate that we play politics with matters of security, matters of lives and properties in Imo State. First of all, our security personnel had no reason to be murdered in cold blood. This is not the first time. Imo State is the only place. Go to practically all the police stations across the 27 police divisions in Imo State have been burnt by unknown gunmen. And it's quite unfortunate because the truth is, the sole responsibility of government is to provide security of lives and properties. And the assertion that the opposition had not condemned this killing is not true. The Labour Party candidate, Senator Atan Achon, even suspended his campaign today because of this incident and strongly wrote out a strong worded condemnation of this killing. And also remember, the same Senator Atan Achon, sometimes months ago, provided hundreds of millions of naira to the Nigerian police to fix and repair 9 armored personnel carriers to protect our military and policemen in the execution of their duties. Most of those armored personnel carriers, 5 of them were supposed to be in Okigwe zone. Those armored personnel carriers are nowhere to be found. It was even alleged that some of the operatives of the state government used those armored personnel carriers to rig elections in February 25th and March 18th in Imo State. There is no reason why the state government cannot provide 27 armored personnel carriers in every of the 27 local government areas in Imo State. We have made a strong case. Let me tell you, security of lives and properties should be the #1 objective of any government. Imo State have actually become the epicenter of insecurity in the whole of the southeast. And this madness started in January 2020. We have never had this kind of madness in Imo State until 2020, till now. Any serious government will not keep on obfuscating, passing blames left and right. To fix insecurity in Imo State sustainably will take nothing less than 26 billion naira. Atan Achonu, as the governorship candidate of the Labour Party, had made a clear case under his manifesto of what can be done, when it can be done, and how it can be done to fix the insecurity in Imo State. We have the template. Security is indigenous, and to fix the insecurity in Imo State, every of the communities, 650 autonomous communities, both the traditional, religious, and the people must be involved. It is so unfortunate that we keep wasting the lives.
Yes, let me bring it back to Declan Emelumba. He's the Commissioner of Information. Let him respond to some of the points that you've made. Declan, earlier you actually said that none of the opposition parties have condemned these terrible, dastardly killings in Imo State. But apparently he's saying that Ethan Achonu, the governorship candidate of the Labour Party, has put out very strongly worded condemnation of that. But I'd like you to address the issue that Nnemeka raised here. The 9 armored vehicles that are said to have gone missing. Were those vehicles delivered to your state government by Ethan Achonu, or was it delivered to the police? Do you know anything about the whereabouts of this 9 armored vehicles?
Well, first of all, let me start by saying that I try to clarify the number, because I mean people say it's 8, and I think it's important. It's not that one person is not important, but we must get the facts correct. 8 and 5 are not the same thing. That is not to say that we accept that people should die. Of course, that's not. The governor was there yesterday. He sympathized with the people, so that shows empathy. And anybody thinking that trying to correct that means playing with number, that's not correct. Secondly, it's just saying it on television that Atan Achonu donated the armored vehicle. This is the first time I'm hearing it. And you are right to ask him, who did he give it to? Was the state government involved? Is it the police? Because such things are not done in secret.
Okay, at any rate, the state government is not.
We're not aware of that at all. That is a claim he's making, and is neither here nor there. Because he's saying again, he went as far as talking that it was used to rig election. I mean, how? So who did you give it? Did you give it to government? So if you gave it to police, the government hijack it from police, and which election is he talking of rigging? At any rate, I want to put it on record that if you are talking of provision of the necessary equipment for fighting insecurity, I think the government of distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, His Excellency, the governor of Imo State, has done more than enough. There are at least 2 occasions when the IG of police came to launch donation of over 50 armored vehicles to the police, and they are functional today. There are several occasions to show when these things had been done. Government has donated both communication gadgets, both armored vehicles, and many of these things. And that it is important to state that anyone who wants to be honest to himself, like he rightly said, the insecurity situation, went overboard from 2021, when after the assault on correctional center, where over 1,000 inmates were released. Now, after that incident, anybody who is sincere will tell you that there was a time in Imo State when insecurity was really at this height. Police stations were burnt at will. People were beheaded and their heads displayed on marketplace and so on and so forth. That situation and today are not the same thing. It took the spirited effort of the government to bring it down, to a very reasonable level. Now, today we are discussing this because it's an incident that has not happened for a long time. We said it's a commonplace. It's not true. Otherwise, we'll be discussing it every day. And when you look at the Southeast, for instance, there is nothing peculiar about Imo State. The same thing happens in Southeast and other parts of the Southeast.
Yeah, very well.
Yes, everybody knows that. So they are trying to make a mountain out of a molehill because you are saying you will make him safe again. Right. That is not true. But I want to also let him address his mind to who is the governorship candidate of Labour.
All right, then.
Because as we talk, we don't know who the governorship candidate of Labour is.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
No, we don't know. Because they have about 4 candidates and their matter is still in court. They're left, right, and center.
It's all right, Honorable Commissioner. We'll get to that in no time. But Onemeka, let me get back to you from our Lagos studio. It's a good thing that you pointed out that the Labour Party, your party, condemned the attack yesterday. Well, the PDP also condemned the attack, so not only the Labour Party that condemned the attack. Well, moving on, would you rather say that to foster community engagement for more security in a place like Imo State, would you rather say allowing community policing, which some people call state policing, will better raid security in our states?
My brother, you cannot reinvent the wheel. It's so unfortunate. My heart bleeds. I come from a community in Imo State. I grew up in Imo State. I attended primary school in Imo State. I attended secondary school in Imo State. I lived most of my life in Imo State. I know Imo State, Imo State, at the back of my hand. I come from a community in Imo State. Amagu Ihube Autonomous Community in Okigwe Local Government Area. Please go to Okigwe Local Government Area today. 7 communities out of the 11 communities are under siege by bandits and unknown gunmen. Let me tell you, you can't reinvent the wheel. P2B did similar thing in Anambra State. Anambra State was a beehive of criminal activities when P2B became governor. P2B did not do anything magical. He called on the 177 town unions to donate their sons. 20 of their sons were donated. P2B provided them training, provided them with security gadgets, provided with arms and the innocent trucks. Every community gated their communities. 6 months, P2B chased away all the criminals in Anambra State. So much that one of the kidnappers, Evans, located his operations to Lagos. For 5 years under P2B, Anambra was voted the safest state in Nigeria. It is not skyrocket science. We have told the Imo State government what they know what to do. Imo State has 650 autonomous communities. To fix security in Imo State, you have to involve the communities. If every electoral, Imo State has 305 electoral wards, 650 autonomous communities. If each of the 305 electoral wards, the leadership, the people produce 30 of their sons, who are trusted, who are not criminals, that will give you 9,150 youths, able-bodied youths that can protect their communities. It will take us only 26 billion. Provide 27 Humvee armored personnel carriers is 6.7 billion. 1 in every local government area. Provide 4,130 motorized motorcycles for the operators, provide 135 trucks, 5 per local government area. Let me tell you, 26 billion borrowed over 5 years to implement security. On annual basis, Imo State government received over 45 billion on jack on 27 local government areas. In under 4 years, they received 180 billion naira. If they provide 26 billion to borrow 26 billion to provide the necessary infrastructure, just like Atan Achon has enunciated in his manifesto, I tell you, in 6 months, all the bandits, all the criminals, killing our policemen, our military men, and murdering our people will be chased out of Imo State. If the policemen
this is not a campaign. This is not a campaign moment. It's not a campaign moment. When you're ready for a campaign, you'll campaign for it, and Arise will give you the platform to campaign. Of course, the elections are right around the corner, November 11. Declan, what assurances are you giving the people of Ndimo that, you know, they should have confidence to go out before the election, during the election, and after it, that their lives will not be at stake because of political contest? And maybe you want to respond to what Nnemeka has also said about the budget that you have, and a bit of it to secure the people will not be too much.
Well, first of all, let me say that the coming election, the November 11 election, will not be the first election that we had in Imo since this election season. We had the presidential and national assembly elections in Imo. We had the House of Assembly elections in Imo. And if you check the records, it was one of the most peaceful in the country. There was no violence, no incident in any of those elections. That will show you that Imo State has the capacity to hold elections under a peaceful atmosphere. Now, these people talking, have you ever wondered, ask yourself, he told you that today that Atan suspended his campaign. Where is the Atan campaign? Is he campaigning in the moon? Is he not in Imo State he's campaigning? This Imo is the most unsafe place in the world. But they are campaigning every day, going up and down, campaigning, going to the local governments, campaigning. They are being clever, they are not being honest. They are not telling us the truth.
Thank you.
But what I want to assure you is that Imo we hold election under a very, very peaceful atmosphere. Right. They are exaggerating a situation that has come reasonably under control just to score cheap political points. They know it's not true. The other time, Atan Achon invited P2B and so many people to Owerri, their national leader, even though the local people there boycotted the rally. They came and campaigned and left. Nobody, no incident. And they cannot admit that the government has done something very, very reasonable to bring down the level of insecurity.
So you are assuring us that despite all these attacks, the security of lives and property will be ensured during the elections and after. Thank you very much indeed. Declan Emelumba, that's the Imo State Commissioner for Information. And of course, from our Lagos studio, we say thank you to you, Labour Party Governorship Campaign Council, that's the director of strategy for that council in Imo State, Nnemeka Obiaraeri. Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen, for joining us on